Hello, brothers and sisters of light, and welcome to my page. My page is about common sense, but I try to keep it down under the nitty gritty, under 10 minutes. If it goes over 10 minutes, that means it's something very, 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 very important. And not important to liberals, libertarians, people who believe in God, people like to smoke, people like to drink, people like ayahuasca, people like DMT. Listener's discretion is advised. Going down a rabbit hole, not up your asshole. The one and only Schizo-Indigo right here. All right, okay. I do a lot of things that guys don't do. I'm myself, and I have videos to back up things that I say. So let me wipe this camera off. Now, this video is going to be about under 10 minutes. I try to keep it down under 10 minutes because I know a lot of people have a low attention span. All right? So I'm not your average man. I'm not your Peter Pan. Now, since I got most people off, okay, this message is about suffering. The suffering of the little children, the suffering of the women, okay? Even the suffering of men. Have you noticed, you all have to notice this, is when someone suffers, they stay positive. They stay positive. When there's ever a disciplinary, around the vicinity, a parent, okay, or a king, okay, because these words are most likely looked down upon, because you'll be called a controlling freak or someone when you're actually a disciplinary, or you really have standards, you have morals, you have codes. Whenever someone has nothing, they tend to do more for you, okay? When they have a lot, they don't do much for you, or they're distracted, or something's wrong psychologically, correct? Okay, so when you have children, I'm talking about the fact that parenting is a difficult thing. If you're a teacher, that is a difficult thing too. I've learned that when women are overseas, when they don't have much, they stay positive, because I lived in Ethiopia. I recorded the whole thing, and I did the test already for you guys. When you're living with them in their country, they're not likely to cheat, because you're the one who is the provider. Whenever you're the provider, okay, you have to make that clear that there is a trade-off. I look at relationships as a trade-off, and I believe all of you guys should be doing it like a trade-off. If she's giving you this, then you give her that, because usually I do 2 for 1. And I made this video before, the 2 for 1 deal. When you get something from someone, always give back twice. Well, when they take one thing away from you, you take away twice. That is it. That is it. I believe that if you do this with your children, you don't have to spank them. You have to use psychology. It is very important to use psychology. When you want something, and that one thing is very valuable to them, give it to them. When they give you what you desire, you make it very clear and upfront. That's you being an alpha. Most guys aren't alpha. They're not upfront. They're afraid of losing things, and they're desperate in their sexuality, and they're also their lustfulness. But I'm talking about common sense now here. When you see a beautiful woman, you should know common sensely that beauty fades over time. Okay? And you should already know that typically, if you do your research, you'll find out women are the ones who initiate divorces by 80%. It's about 80%. All right? And you should automatically know that a woman's beauty will decay much more faster than a man, okay? Especially if that man is put together well, okay? If he had standards from the beginning, because there are lazy men out there. And of course, if I was a woman, I would never date men who are just lazy, okay? Or not in shape, okay? I would just be turned off. Same thing goes for both men and women. But the moral of what I'm saying here is that if you have something to give, most men are providers. And women will take advantage of that down the run. So you have to protect yourself. You, as a man, provider, which is usually obviously ignored in society, you're going to be ignored. But don't worry about that. You get validation from within. That's a real man. You get validation from within. You don't need to be recognized by anybody. You just want to make sure you're happy. This is important for a guy. You have to look inward to get your own self-validation, because you're not going to get it too much from anybody, okay, including your wife. Okay, they're not taught. It's not their fault, guys. Okay, so what you have to do is that when you need something in your life, you have to tell them up front, this is what I require. It's like a job. It's a business. It's a trade-off. Once things stop being processed, you have to cut it off. And I say it would just only give them one other chance, and that's it. Cheating is a complete cutoff. So when it comes to relationships, women cheat much more better than men. Of course, that's by fact and by far, because I've counseled thousands of women and men, and I know the difference between why and how women cheat and men cheat. I already know already. I'm trying to tell you in this video, there's a trade-off. Whenever someone doesn't have something, they tend to do more for you. They tend to be more desperate. There's a lot of simp men out there who don't care about the past of history of a woman, so they choose the path of being a beta. They're not going to be upfront with a beautiful woman. Only thing they're thinking about is the little head, not the big head, right? And this is a problem for most men. So many simps, so little time. It's very hard to help all of the simps, especially when they're broke and they don't have the money, okay? And as I said before, I don't charge a huge fee for my services. I just talk about my experiences and also my counseling sessions and also my therapy sessions to the opposite sex and the same sex and the intersex. I have a YouTube channel, guys. You should know me. And I don't care about popularity and all that other stuff. It's a waste of time to me, okay? But that's really what I want to say in this video. I want you guys to understand that everything has a trade-off. Once something is not given, you can't serve that individual anymore. You have to cut it off. From the very beginning, you have to talk about your requirements up front, and that is really being alpha. When you're being alpha, you're being upfront. This is what I require. You have to speak nicely about it. And if you have to give them tests to make sure it's legit. But remember, if you're living in a Western society culture, and living in America, it's extremely hard to do. So this is why you have to travel. You have to travel. I've seen a house over there in Ethiopia with full of wives and full of children, and the guy is American, and they told me. So I didn't go in there and try to bang his wives. I respected that. And that's the thing what y'all should be doing. You keep them over there. Now, if you want to bring the children back to get the money, that's good. But try to put them back, because anybody who's thinking that you're doing cyber school or homeschooling, you can get yourself in some trouble, like myself, because, I got cyber school my daughters. You already know how dangerous it is to put them out there when you're educated or you're a student, okay? And you're trying to take the intellectual side of life, the common sense type of life, okay? But you can't do it in America, especially when you depend on where you live at. But everything is a trade, guys. You can't just give and give and give and give and give because of one thing, which is mainly used vaginas, because most of you guys like used vaginas. Okay? I understand that. I don't, okay? I usually get paid from used vaginas. If they don't have the money, I just cut them off. I do not waste my time. And you got to be careful, too, now. You can't really be doing that gigolo and stuff. These days, you'll get caught up. I stopped that long time ago. My dildo strapping in the bag, okay? Things that you guys will never even fathom what I used to do, okay? But, anyway, that's all I really got to say, guys. Everything is a trade. If once you receive it, then you give it, okay? And they will return for more because they like it, okay? All right? That's the secret. That's the secret. Make sure your needs are met first, okay? You don't pay first. You make sure your needs is met first. Then you pay. Like a lot of prostitutes, okay? A lot of prostitutes always want their money up front. You never do that. You are at your lowest if you were paying first, okay? And I feel bad for you guys. 90% of you guys out there, you be dating broke women and then complain at later words when you get sent to court or family court. Man, if you do get sent to family court for messing with a used vagina, okay, at least get paid. Okay, I had to protect myself even when I had a virgin wife. But I get paid, okay? I'm going to get paid. I had to think about it, okay? I didn't know too much about the system. I didn't think a virgin would ever be disloyal. But just because she's a virgin doesn't mean she'll be loyal. And I proved my point. I proved my point very clearly. I've had my videos all on the internet. You should know that. I am not an asshole. I am a person who's entertaining. I did everything for my ex-wife, okay? I didn't even check her phone, even though it's tracked, okay? Everything must be tracked. There's no hiding things between me and her or even the kids. But anyway, I'm not your average man. I'm not your Peter Pan. And y'all have a nice day, okay? Trade is important. You cannot do this without being upfront. You gotta say, this is what I need. This is what you should do. And if she can't give that to you, on to the next woman. All right? Or travel overseas or something. Do something different. Peace.